going to teach you in this video is I'm going to teach you how to make an outstanding, beautiful, absolutely delicious appetizer that you can serve to anybody. Be proud to put it out there, and it's going to take you less than 30 minutes to do the whole thing. You will want to watch this to the end because it's great. Now I'm going to start with tomatoes because I'm going to make bruschetta. If you haven't had bruschetta before, it's absolutely to die for. It is so incredibly good. It's very fresh. All of the ingredients came right out of my garden. So if you're fortunate enough to have planted tomatoes and they did well, and you planted basil and it did well, and you planted garlic and it did well, then you're not buying anything from the grocery store. Nothing. You're going to just make it all yourself. The tomatoes that I'm using now is just a nice solid basic tomato, and I've also got Roma tomatoes in here. So I like kind of mixing them up because I think they bring different flavors. So what we're going to do is we want to get all of that water out. We want to get those seeds out like that, simply because we want the essence of the tomato, but we really don't want the water of it. So on all of these, I'm just pulling most of the liquid out. And what it's really going to do is going to minimize your time, because this is going to then drain and strain, rather, not drain, but strain. So you want to have as minimal amount of liquid in there as you can. Now what you want to do is to put it into bite-sized pieces. You don't want somebody to have a whole chunk of tomato in their mouth when it's a little hors d'oeuvre. So this is how I'm slicing it. Just small pieces, just like that. Okay? Just cut it up to where it's just a nice little dice on it. That's all you're looking for. Get the little ends out of there. Those are not pleasant. I have got a little bit of it already prepared. I did a little bit before because I like a lot of bruschetta. We eat a lot of it, so I made enough for your appetizer, and I made enough for us to enjoy later in the day. Here you go. There's the strainer. You're going to put them in just like that. Then you need some salt, and salt always extracts the liquid, always. So what you want to do is put that little bit of salt in there. Then we're going to set it over a bowl or set it over your sink or whatever you want to do, and we're going to leave it like this for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. When you're finished with the rest of it, this would be the last thing you can put together, all right? All right, so continuing on with bruschetta, what we're going to do is to make some crostini. Oh, that sounds so fancy, crostini. It's just bread that's been toasted, for heaven's sakes. But I wanted to have a good height of flavor to it. So I took a garlic, I peeled it, and then what I do is I just go in and score it on both sides because I think that releases the juices in there. Then all you want to do is just this, just rub it like this. Then you're going to take olive oil and just brush the top. That's it. Now, I have already prepared these, so I'm going to put these out. And I also have prepared, because on our platter, we're going to have a few different appetizer thingamabobs, whatever they are. So on this one, I did the same thing. I just did this with the garlic. I did this with the oil. And now we're going to pop it in the oven. It's going to be there for probably 5 to 7 minutes, just to where it has a nice little toast on it. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. I'll be right back. So while our bread is toasting, becoming that crostini that we want, we're going to continue on with the bruschetta. The tomatoes have already drained all that they're going to drain, and so we're going to just pop that into a nice little bowl so we have some working space here. Now you need basil, and I have grown it in my garden. I love basil. It's fragrant, it's fresh, it's wonderful, and I just think it's a great herb. Now, it's really easy to grow, you guys, so don't be concerned about growing things like this. Put it in a little pot and stick it out there. And as it starts to bloom, it gets the little white blossoms on the top. cut them off. It'll continue to grow. So good. Now, I want you to take a look at this little piece of equipment that I have here. I have no idea what it's called. It was given to me, it was gifted to me years ago, and I probably use it every single day. If you're going to mince or chop anything, this is fantastic. So you just go back and forth like that. That's all you do, back and forth. And you chop it. Oh, I wish you could just smell that basil right now. Okay, then we're going to just put all the basil in there. Garlic, I have already minced the garlic, and I minced it using my little chopper machine here. I've got it in here. So we're going to put the garlic in. Then we need some salt. We need some pepper. And some extra virgin olive oil. And this is wonderful. Okay. I assume that probably most of you have had a Caprice salad. I've had them, they're wonderful, they're delicious, they're beautiful. But to be able to serve that as part of your appetizer platter, I think it's just an amazingly good thing to do. Now, typically they are made with red tomatoes, which I think is wonderful, but I also have these beautiful green tomatoes, so I'm going to use a little bit of green tomato as well. So when you are making your caprice, what you want to do is you want to have nice healthy slices of it. So you want a good slice like that, just like that. Whoop. Okay. And I'll do a second one here. Get that little stem out of there. And there. And I really like the green. I don't know if you've ever made these. It's called a Chadwick. They grow just to about 6 ounces, so it's not a huge tomato. It's the first time I grew them this year. I am going to grow a ton of them next year. Oh my gosh, this little bugger is the most flavorful tomato I have ever eaten. I love this tomato. Chadwick. Perfect tomato. There we go. This is going to be such a pretty little platter. Alrighty. All right, so the Caprice salad is so simple. It really, really is. So all you're going to do is take your fresh tomatoes, and I have fresh mozzarella here, and you want to just slice it. It slices very easily, just like that. You want nice, generous little portions in there too. Those two are for the cook. Just like that. All right, and then you're going to put your fresh tomato, your mozzarella. I like the green tomato, the mozzarella, a red tomato. No, those are for the cook. We're going to cut another piece. Right there. Mozzarella. And we'll finish off with a green tomato. Now, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Took us no time. And like I said, if you're growing your own tomatoes, all the better. All the better. We're going to put a little bit of salt on here, not too much, just a tiny little dribble of salt. We're going to put in a little bit of olive oil. Not too much, just a little bit, a little flavoring of it. And I have a video that I have posted, and it's for a balsamic glaze. Balsamic glaze takes everything to another level. It's absolutely flavorful and beautiful. So if you've never made it, log on to that video, and you'll really like it. It's very easy to make. So all I'm going to do now is just dress this up a little bit by doing this. And that, I think, is beautiful. Very easy, very fast. You grew, actually I grew everything there except the mozzarella, okay? So I will continue to fill this platter. We'll take a look as it's completed. All right, so we have got our crostinis done. They're nice and just toasty. They're not cooked all the way through, but they're nice and toasty, very flavorful with that garlic. Now, all we're going to do is just top this. That's all we're going to do, just like that. This is so fresh and so delicious. It really is. There, bread's trying to get away from me. Come on, bread. All right. Now, we don't need to season this anymore. Remember, we have the salt in there already, so you don't want to add any more of that. However, let's come back to a little bit of the balsamic. Just a little bit. Just like that. Okay? See how pretty it's getting? It's coming together so nice. Now is we're going to take the other part of the crostini that I baked off, and I did this in wheat. I just like the different textures and the different tastes that come from these. So what we're going to do on this is we're going to put a little bit of goat cheese on it. Now, if you are not a fan of goat cheese, feel free to use whatever cheese you like. But we like goat cheese in our house. So goat cheese is what we're going to be doing. This is a simple recipe, again, very simple. And, you know, remember, I'm putting all the ingredients down below, so don't feel you have to, you know, stay with it. Only the technique I want you to watch at this point. So the goat cheese is on, and all we're going to do now is just put a little dab, very little dab of honey. It just gives it that little bit of sweetness that you're looking for. And it's delightful, and it's healthy. Did you know that honey is a perfect food? Did you know that? Honey will last forever. Forever. All right. Now, on top of this delicious little beautiful thing that we have here, we're going to put some fruit on top of it. Now, I have a plum here, and I like things that are kind of unique, a little different in looks, and that's what this plum is. So, we're going to cut some pieces of this and just kind of plop it on top. Just like that. And I also have a purple plum that we're going to plop on top. See, it doesn't take very much to create a pretty platter. It really doesn't. You can do them ever so quickly, ever so simply, and they're fast. They're just fast. And then we're going to put some basil. I think basil is wonderful on just about everything. I really do. So just a little bit. It's a very strong herb, so you don't want to overpower the basil, but just a little bit like that. Just here and there, just so that they get a smattering of it. Okay? There. And then, once again, we're going to plate it. And put a little bit of balsamic on it. I told you you could use a lot of balsamic in a lot of different ways. All right. Now, that should be good enough just as it is, but we're going to kick it up a little bit more. So hold on. Here we are. Just look at this. We completed that in under 30 minutes. And with the exception of the bread, which I could have made but didn't, and the mozzarella, which I bought, and the goat cheese, everything else came out of the garden. It is fresh, it is delicious, it is beautiful. You can serve this to anyone. But along with this, I like to have one extra thing going with my hors d'oeuvre platters, simply because my dearest, closest, most beautiful friend, Pat, had something on a tray that I did one time, and she's still talking about it, and it's fried mushrooms. So I'm going to fry up some mushrooms because I want Pat to see how easy it is, and that no, I was not a hero. It was just something you just put together in a matter of minutes. And I'm going to add that to this tray. So I will be back. All right, so continuing on with this amazing little platter that we're doing, I'm going to fry up some mushrooms. Now, I don't know if you've had deep fried mushrooms, but they are amazing. They are so good. One of the things to be sure is you never wet the mushroom. Never. You don't want to put any water on it. All you're doing is taking that little bit of fine particles of dirt or dust or whatever's on there. You just want to wipe that off. Now, what I have done, I have prepared most of these, but I left a couple. Because what I want you to notice is if the stem is real woody, like this one is, just get rid of it, okay? Just get rid of it, pull it off. But if not, like a lot of these others were just fine, so what I did is I just cut off the tip of it and left the rest of it. All of it is good mushroom. Now we're going to fry this in a tempura batter. Tempura batter I have made from scratch. I wasn't really happy with the quality of it, so I have to go back in, find another one that I think is really worth doing. So in the meantime, I just bought McCormick's tempura dip. It's very good, it's very easy. There's a lot of varieties out there on the market. I've tried many of them. They're pretty much all the same. So I'm just gonna dump some in. And then for the liquid, you can use whatever you want. I personally like beer in it because I think it just gives it an enhanced flavoring. But if you are opposed to beer, just use whatever you want. If you don't like the alcohol thought of it, trust me, when it's frying at 375 degrees, trust me, it burns off. So you're just going to pour to what you consider to be a correct consistency of a batter. Okay? Now the measurements are on that package. I don't follow them because it tells you just, it's telling you to use the whole package. I never use the whole package. So just a little bit. Just like that. Just so that you know that it's well coated when you drop that in there, and it'll be fine. Now, if you have a fryer like mine, it's wonderful. Go ahead and use it. If you don't have one, don't let it stop you. I didn't have one for years, and I would just put a frying pan on my stove, put some oil in there, just so it was deep enough that it took at least half of the mushroom, so I could do half of it and then flip it and do the other half. Now, mine is ready, so what I'm going to do is I want to spray this a little bit because I don't want my mushrooms to stick, which they do have the potential of doing. So I just spray this just a little bit, and then we dip, just like this. Just get them nicely coated. You don't have to be very fussy with them. And drop them in. Just like that. And I'm going to do all of them because I love mushrooms. So whatever doesn't go on the platter is for the cook. They just need a couple of minutes. And when they start getting kind of golden, then we're just going to kind of flip them over a little bit. Shake them up. These are really good, you guys. So I want you to come and take a look. I want you to see how golden and how nice they are getting. See that? If you can get popped in there and take a good look at it. Just like that. These are really a pretty, pretty presentation. And you can see how fast they go. I mean, it's only been cooking like maybe for 3 minutes. I think total is going to be like less than 5 minutes on this. So we'll give that a couple of minutes. And then what I have also done, simply because we have some batter left over, is I have some onions. And we're just going to throw those in there as well, because who doesn't love onion rings? Come on now. Onion rings are fantastic. So we waste nothing in this kitchen. We use everything. All righty. I think these are about done. Yep. Shake them off. Put them on a rack. You want them to drain a little bit. Then I'm going to throw the mushrooms in, or the onions in. What you want to be careful of if you are doing this, you can cook them at 350, 375, either one of them is going to make it happen, but you want that oil to stay consistent. I think that's why I like this, because I have a thermometer, or a temperature gauge right on it. So if you are doing something on the stove, if you put a lot in and then take it out like the mushrooms, let that come back up to temperature again before you throw the onion rings in. Now, whenever you fry, what you want to be sure to do is you want to be sure to salt them when they come out, because that's when you're going to get the level of salt that you need on it while it's still warm. And these are cooking up just nice, and then we're going to be done with these in just about 1 second. All right, our onion rings are done as well. They took 2 minutes. Okay, so we're going to pop those out. Get myself unplugged here. Going to give them a little bit of salt. Just like that. Do you see how easy it is to make stuff in your kitchen? So fast. It's so fast to do. All right, let me get this plated up and I will be right back. The mushrooms and the onions, they are a beautiful addition, especially when you have cold appetizers and then you want to really enhance it with some warm appetizers. So can you just imagine putting this on your table? Isn't that beautiful? And it honestly, I keep saying this, it took us no time at all. I really literally did all of this within 30 minutes. It is not hard to do. Now, the sauce that goes with this, now that's tricky. It's a secret sauce, so when you serve it, don't tell anyone what it is, all right? You ready? Bottled ranch dressing. That's it. Bottled ranch dressing. It is so good with these mushrooms. Now, I'm going to try just an onion ring, and we'll make sure it's good. That crunch, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So there it is, your summer appetizer tray, Caprice salad, bruschetta, and a fruit basil goat cheese. And then, of course, your beautiful mushrooms over there and onion rings. So thank you so much. Remember to subscribe. I'd love to have you come back. I love our cooking community. I just love it. Leave me comments, anything that you are adding to your trays that I would love to know about, I will incorporate in my trays, because trust me, I learned so much from you. So come back, subscribe. If you liked what you saw, give us a thumbs up on it, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for coming to join me today. You have a wonderful rest of your day.